In the deepest, most uncharted corners of our being, there lies a truth so undeniable, so profound, that only a select few will ever come close to understanding it. It is an awakening, one that cuts through the noise of the world and strikes at the heart of our very existence. It's a moment when you realize that true power does not come from blending in, from seeking approval, or from being swept along with the currents of societal expectations. No, the power that shapes the world is found in something much deeper. It lies in the act of standing alone, of stepping away from the crowd, and embracing solitude, not as a weakness, but as the greatest strength you can possess. It's about confronting the chaos within, the storm of doubts, fears, and desires that lurk beneath the surface, and channeling that energy into something greater than yourself. This is not a power that conforms, nor does it seek validation. This is the power of individuality, of carving a path so unique, so bold, that it cannot help but alter the course of the world around you. The reality is that those who truly leave their mark on this world, who achieve greatness in any form, are those who never bought into this lie. They rejected the comfort of normality and instead chose to walk a path that was uniquely their own, no matter how challenging, no matter how different. They knew that only by daring to be exceptional, by rejecting mediocrity, could they tap into their true power. So ask yourself, are you willing to break free from the lie? Are you ready to embrace the discomfort of standing out, of striving for something greater, and of rejecting a life that tells you being ordinary is enough? Because that's the moment when true transformation begins. The first and most crucial step in becoming who you truly are is realizing that in order to live a life of true meaning, you must be willing to break free from the chains of convention, from the expectations that have been placed upon you by society. This is not merely about living differently. It's about embracing an entirely new way of being. It's about rejecting the comfortable lie that conformity brings happiness and stepping into a path that may be filled with uncertainty, but also holds the promise of unimaginable growth. To walk this path, you must embrace isolation, not as something to avoid or fear, but as something that will become your greatest ally. For it is only in isolation that you can discover who you really are, stripped away from the distractions of the world. This solitude is not a prison. It is a sanctuary where your true self can be born. Nietzsche, in his unflinching honesty, tells us that isolation is the forge where the strongest souls are made. In this silence, away from the opinions of others, away from the expectations of the herd, you begin to hear your own voice, the voice that has been drowned out for too long. But here's the thing, most people fear isolation because they've never been taught how to live with themselves. They rely on the validation of others to feel worthy, and when that validation is absent, they crumble. But the Übermensch, this ideal of human greatness, understands that isolation is not something that weakens you. No, it's the fire that refines you. It is the place where your deepest fears are confronted and your greatest strengths are uncovered. In solitude, you are forced to face yourself. And this confrontation, though difficult and uncomfortable, is the key to unlocking your highest potential. In a world that constantly urges you to seek approval, to fit in, to be liked, to be accepted, the idea of standing apart from the crowd can seem daunting. But in truth, it's the only way to break free from the shackles of mediocrity. The strongest, most powerful individuals throughout history have been those who dared to embrace the crucible of solitude. It was in their solitude that they found the clarity to see their purpose, the strength to pursue it, and the courage to create their own destiny. You see, isolation does not weaken you. It allows you to see your own power. It provides you with the space to reclaim what has been lost in the noise of the world, to gather the fragments of your true self, and to begin the process of self-mastery. The journey to becoming the Übermensch is not for the faint of heart. It requires you to go into the wilderness of your own mind, to leave behind the comforts of the crowd, and to emerge stronger, more determined, and more fully alive than ever before. The question then is this: Are you willing to embrace the discomfort of solitude, to walk the path less traveled, and to become the kind of person who shapes the world rather than being shaped by it? Because that is where true power lies, in the willingness to stand alone, to embrace isolation, and to use it to sharpen, strengthen, and transform yourself into someone truly extraordinary. But let's be crystal clear. This journey is not for those who crave comfort, who seek the safety of the crowd, or who bend to the expectations of others. To become the Übermensch is to choose a path that demands everything from you. It is to confront the rawest, most challenging aspects of existence, to plunge into the unknown and to embrace struggle, chaos, and suffering as the inevitable companions of growth. This is not a journey of soft paths or easy victories. It is a call to arms, to battle against your own limitations, to break free from the mental and emotional chains that have held you back for so long. In the silence of solitude, where no one's voice but your own echoes in your mind, you will face the parts of yourself you've long tried to avoid. It is here, in the harsh, unrelenting quiet, that you will be forced to look at your deepest insecurities, the ones you hide behind a mask for others to see. You'll confront the fears that have kept you in your comfort zone, that have kept you from reaching the heights you know deep down you are capable of. Every failure you've ever experienced will rise to meet you in this solitude. Each moment of doubt, each setback, each time you felt small and insignificant will come rushing back. But here's the thing, in the midst of all this pain, you'll begin to rise. This is where your true transformation takes place. You will not be saved by running away from these fears, these insecurities, these painful truths. You will be saved by facing them, by seeing them for what they are, and realizing that they no longer have power over you. The discomfort, the chaos, the suffering, they are not your enemies. They are your allies, the very tools that will break you open and reshape you into something greater. In the fight against these shadows, you will discover a new kind of strength, one that doesn't come from external validation or praise, but from an inner fire that refuses to be extinguished. You will find your limits, and you will push past them. You will find your weaknesses, and you will turn them into your greatest sources of power. The suffering you face will no longer feel like an obstacle, but a necessary step on the path to greatness. Every moment of struggle will add another layer to the person you are becoming. And the deeper you go into the darkness of yourself, the brighter the light within you will become. You will rise from the ashes of your former self, unrecognizable to the world and even to yourself. And it is in that moment, when you face the worst of who you are, that you will step into the true power of the Übermensch, unstoppable, unyielding, and completely free. The Übermensch is not just a philosophical concept, it is a battle cry, a call to arms that demands you rise above everything that has held you back. It is an invitation to tear down the walls that society, family, and even your own ego have built around you. It is a declaration that you are not meant to live a life dictated by the mundane expectations of the masses. You are not meant to follow the beaten path or to conform to the standards set by others. No, you are destined for something far greater. But to reach that greatness, you must first shatter the chains of convention that bind you. This journey requires that you strip away the mask of societal approval and embrace a life of discomfort and unpredictability. It's about stepping into the wilderness of life, where there are no clear roads, no guides, and no guarantees. The world will try to pull you back into its comfortable, predictable patterns, but you must resist. True freedom lies not in fitting in, but in standing apart, carving out your own space in a world that demands conformity. To embrace the Übermensch is to willingly walk into chaos, to confront the disorder that is life itself, and to find your power in it. It is about rejecting the lie that life must be structured and safe. You see, society will tell you that to be successful, you must follow a set of rules, abide by unspoken codes, and live within the confines of what's acceptable. But what if the true key to greatness lies precisely in breaking all of these rules? What if you're not meant to fit into the mold that has been handed to you? When you step beyond the safety of norms and expectations, you begin to tap into a power that is raw, untamed, and uniquely yours. It's only when you embrace this chaos, this wild, uncontrollable force, that you unlock the potential within. This is the place where true transformation occurs, where your deepest desires and strengths emerge from the ashes of conformity. The moment you decide to forge your own path in the wilderness of life, you are no longer bound by the limitations that society has placed on you. You are free to create, to innovate, and to challenge everything you once thought was possible. You are no longer just a part of the crowd. You become a force that shapes the world around you, one that refuses to be defined by the trivialities of normal existence. This path is not easy, and it's not for the weak. It demands courage, persistence, and an unwavering belief that you are meant for something greater than what the world has given you. But in the end, when you have embraced chaos and defied the norms, you will stand alone, but unshakably powerful, carving out your own destiny. And in that moment, you will truly understand that the Vermensch is not a concept. It is the very essence of who you are meant to become. But how do you embark on this transformation? How do you break free from the mundane and step into a life that defies the expectations of the world? The journey begins with something many people lack: the raw, unyielding courage to walk alone. The courage to sever ties with the safety net of societal validation and trust that your path, though lonely and misunderstood, will lead you to your true potential. You must face the uncomfortable truth that, in order to transcend mediocrity, you must break free from the comfort zone of conformity. The world will pressure you to stay within the lines, to be like everyone else, to follow the herd and be part of the crowd. But this is the very thing that holds you back. This is where most people falter, because they fear being seen as different. They fear being labeled as selfish or wrong for choosing their own path. Yet, this is precisely where greatness lies. Greatness is born from the willingness to defy expectations, to reject the false security of approval, and to forge a life that is undeniably your own. To step out of the shadows and declare, "I will not live like everyone else." And yes, it will be terrifying. Yes, you will face opposition. Yes, you will experience rejection. But these are the very trials that shape you into someone who is capable of transcending the ordinary. To live authentically, to create your own definition of success, is a price you must be willing to pay. And in that sacrifice, in that unwavering commitment to your truth, you will discover the power to rise above the noise of the world and carve a legacy that is uniquely yours. It is a journey for those who are ready to risk everything for the life they have always known they were meant to live. A journey where you can no longer rely on the approval of others, but must rely only on the strength of your own convictions. Nietzsche's philosophy does not offer comfort. It does not hand you hope wrapped in soft words, or lull you into a sense of peace. Instead, it slaps you awake. It shakes you by the soul and demands that you confront life with your eyes wide open. It commands you to dive into the depth of your own being, to question every belief you've been taught, to dismantle the illusions that have made your existence feel safe but hollow. It is not a path for those who wish to be coddled. It is a relentless journey for those who are ready to set fire to everything false and rebuild themselves from the ashes. It tells you to bleed in the arena of reality, to wrestle with the unknown, and to welcome the pain that most people run from. Because in Nietzsche's world, it is not comfort that breeds strength, it is discomfort. It is not peace that awakens greatness, it is resistance. His philosophy reveals a raw truth. Life is not linear, not clean, not orderly. Life is chaos, unpredictable and violent, and yet that chaos is sacred. It is not a mistake to be corrected, but a sacred storm that holds the potential for your transformation. Every wound, every scar, every failure is part of the fire that shapes you. And when you stop fearing the storm, when you walk into the thunder instead of away from it, you realize something profound. That chaos is not just something you survive, it's something you need. It's the brutal teacher that refines you. It's the crucible where your shallow self dies and your powerful self is born. Nietzsche didn't just want you to accept chaos. He wanted you to become it, to dance with it, to let it mold your character into something unbreakable. This is not a gentle awakening, it is a brutal rebirth. And only those who dare to lose everything will ever come close to discovering who they really are. There is no sanctuary in mediocrity, only stagnation disguised as safety. The herd, the crowd, the obedient masses, they are not your companions on the path to greatness. They are the prison walls built out of fear, comfort, and conformity. They lull you into silence, strip you of your fire, and mold you into a version of yourself that fits neatly into a world that rewards obedience over originality. They are the quiet architects of your limitation, whispering that it's better to be accepted than to be exceptional. But the truth is this: every time you silence your voice to please others, every time you betray your instincts just to blend in, you give away a piece of your soul. You shrink, you fade. You become a shadow of the force you were meant to be. The moment you reject that lie, the moment you stop chasing validation and start living with unapologetic purpose, is the moment you rise. You begin to walk differently, think differently, breathe differently. Because you're no longer surviving for them, you're living for you. You're no longer bending your will to match the world. You're bending the world to reflect your will. That is where your power begins, not in the noise of the many, but in the clarity of your own voice. And once you reclaim that voice, once you realize you owe nothing to the expectations that have held you hostage, you become unstoppable. But this is where the true battle begins, not in the world outside, but within the depths of your own soul. This is the battlefield that most never dare to enter, the confrontation with your own limitations. Nietzsche didn't just whisper about it, he roared. He urged us to awaken to the force that pulses beneath our complacency, the will to power. This force isn't some external weapon of control, it's an internal uprising, a fire that demands you stop running, stop blaming, and start becoming. The will to power is the relentless drive to ascend beyond what you once believed was possible. It is the refusal to be ruled by hesitation, insecurity, or past failures. It's the force that compels you to face the storms of life with your chest bared and your spine straight. It's not about crushing others beneath your feet. It's about conquering the tyrant that lives in your own mind. The part of you that says, "You can't. You're not enough. It's too hard." To harness the will to power is to look those voices dead in the eye and respond with action, resilience, and unshakable purpose. It's the shift from being a victim of your circumstances to becoming the architect of your future. It is mastery, not over the world, but over the self. And once you've tasted that mastery, even briefly, you will never again settle for the dullness of limitation. You will demand more from life, from yourself, from everything. Because now you understand. The only thing standing between you and the life you were meant to live is the strength of your own will. The ultimate measure of your inner power is never found in how seamlessly you blend into the crowd, but in how fiercely you can hold your ground when the world turns cold, uncertain, and unforgiving. True strength reveals itself in solitude, in the unshaken resolve to walk a path no one else understands. Society teaches you to conform, to follow the rhythm of the many, to seek out the false comfort of approval. But that is not the path of the Übermensch. The overman is not seduced by safety or the illusion of control. He doesn't ask for permission to exist fully. He doesn't seek to be understood by the mediocre or validated by the insecure. He rises not by fitting in, but by stepping out into the unknown, into the storm, into the raw intensity of life where nothing is guaranteed. He carries within him the audacity to live a life without compromise, where truth is not a borrowed idea, but a lived reality. To walk this path is to choose radical authenticity, even when it costs you everything familiar. It is to make your very existence a statement, one that echoes with conviction, with courage, and with the fire of someone who has looked into the abyss and dared to say yes to life anyway. It is not survival that drives the Übermensch. It is the unrelenting hunger to live with depth, with power, and with unwavering purpose. Each breath becomes defiance, each step a testament to the fact that greatness was never born from comfort, but from the will to rise alone. This is where the concept of eternal recurrence comes in. Nietzsche's idea that you should live as though every action you take, every choice you make, will be repeated over and over again for eternity. Imagine living your life with such purpose, such passion, such authenticity, that if you had to relive it all again, you'd embrace every moment with the same intensity. This is the power of living without regret. This is the power of truly becoming the Übermensch. But living this way requires a rejection of the comfortable, predictable life that the masses cling to. It means embracing the unknown, the uncertainty, and the chaos that comes with living a life of purpose. It means rejecting the easy path in favor of the road less traveled, the road that demands everything from you, but gives back in ways you could never imagine. You are not here to live a life of mediocrity. You are not here to fade into the background, to be forgotten by the world. You are here to create a legacy, to shape the world with your actions, your words, and your will. The Übermensch is not a distant ideal. It is a call to action, a call to become the person you were always meant to be. So I ask you, are you ready to face the chaos within? Are you prepared to walk the path of the Übermensch? Are you willing to embrace the struggle, the isolation, and the transformation that will turn you into something greater than you ever thought possible? Because the truth is, the world doesn't need more ordinary people. The world needs those who are willing to stand apart, to challenge the status quo, and to live with a power that others can only dream of. You are one of those people. It's time to stop living for others and start living for yourself. It's time to embrace the chaos, rise above the mediocrity, and step into your greatness. The time for change is now. Become the Übermensch. Become the hero of your own story.